So I'm going to model for you how to summarize, and I'm going to actually use the next touchstone text that we're going to use in this unit. You have not seen this yet. We are going to be working a lot with this text pretty soon, but I'm going to start now by reading it to you and then summarizing. And I'm going to show you some of the strategies I use when I write summaries. So this is called the prologue in More Than This. This is not the title, prologue. It's actually the book More Than This, and this is the prologue of that book. And again, we chose this because it kind of stands alone as a, as a story, as a short story. It's by Patrick Ness, okay? Here is the boy drowning. In these last moments, it's not the water that's finally done for him. It's the cold. It has bled all the energy from his body and contracted his muscles into painful uselessness, no matter how much he fights to keep himself above the surface. He is strong and young and nearly 17, but the wintry waves keep coming, each one seemingly larger than the last. They spin him round, topple him over, force him deeper down and down. Even when he can catch his breath in the few terrified seconds, he manages to push his face into the air. He is shaking so badly he can barely get half a lungful before he's under again. It isn't enough, grows less each time, and he feels terrible. He feels a terrible yearning in his chest as he aches fruitlessly for more. So right now, I'm going to include some annotations, which basically means I'm recording my thoughts so that when it comes time to write the summary, I have something to refer back to. I have a question about this. How did he get here? Okay, this boy's drowning in this really cold water. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm going to write this question down. He is in full panic now. He knows he's drifted just slightly too far from shore to make it back, the icy tide pulling him out farther with every wave, pushing him toward the rocks that make this bit of coast so treacherous. He also knows there's no one who will notice he's gone in time, no one who will raise the alarm before the water defeats him. He won't be saved by chance either. There are no beachcombers or tourists to dive in from the shoreline to save him, not this time of year, not in these freezing temperatures. So I'm just going to write a quick little gist of what I'm reading, what I've read so far. Maybe I can include that in my summary. So right now it seems like a boy is caught in freezing water, drowning. And again, I wrote this question, how did he get here? Because that's one thing I'm really wondering. I'm going to keep reading though. It is too late for him. He will die, and he will die alone. The sudden, gasping horror of knowing this makes him panic even more. He tries again to break the surface, not daring to think that it might be his last time, not daring to think much at all. He forces his legs to kick, forces his arms to heave himself upward, to at least get his body the right way round, to try and grasp another breath just inches away. But the current is too strong. It allows him tantalizingly near the surface, but spins him upside down before he can get there, dragging him closer to the rocks. Let's see, he's trying to stay afloat, getting air. The waves toy with him as he tries again, and fails. Then, without warning, the game the sea seems to have been playing, the cruel game of keeping him alive enough to think he might make it, that game seems to be over. The current surges, slamming him into the killingly hard rocks. His right shoulder blade snaps in two so loudly he can hear the crack, even underwater, even in this rush of tide. The mindless intensity of the pain is so great that he calls out, his mouth instantly filling with freezing, briny seawater. He coughs against it, but only drags more into his lungs. He curves into the pain of his shoulder, blinded by it, paralyzed by its intensity. He is unable to even try and swim now, unable to brace himself as the waves turn him over once more. Please, is all he thinks, just the one word echoing through his head. Please. The current grips him a final time. It rears back as if to throw him, and it dashes him headfirst into the rocks. He slams into them with the full, furious weight of an angry ocean behind him. He is unable to even raise his hands to try and soften the blow. The impact is just behind his left ear. It fractures his skull, splintering it into his brain, the force of it also crushing his third and fourth vertebrae, severing both his cerebral artery and his spinal cord, an injury from which there is no return, no recovery, no chance. He dies. So that was pretty intense, right? I'm gonna include one more thought, and then I'll get to writing my summary. One thing I was thinking is that he was gonna die from drowning, but it actually seems like what caused him to die was this severing both his cerebral artery and spinal cord when he got thrown into those rocks. So it's over here. He dove headfirst into the rocks. Okay. So now down here I'm going to write my summary. Okay. And again, as I'm writing my summary, I'm considering some of these thoughts I had to include, because remember, the summary is just like a gist. We're including the main essential ideas. Okay. So a boy, we don't know his name, right? A boy is caught in a freezing cold. Actually, I know a better word for freezing cold. It's frigid. Okay. And oh, by the way, my summary is only going to be 30 to 40 words. 30 to 40 words. So I have to think about that as I'm writing, okay? A boy is caught in a frigid body of water, struggling. Let's see. So a boy is caught in, so I kind of use this in my first part. He's trying to stay afloat, okay, so he's struggling to stay afloat, getting air. Actually, I don't think I need this getting air. I'm going to get rid of that. Struggling to stay afloat. Well, struggling to stay afloat when? I'm going to include something else. Struggling to stay afloat as the waves thrash him around. Okay, that seems like a good full thought. So a boy is caught in a frigid body of water, struggling to stay afloat as the waves thrash him around. He gets thrown against some rocks and dies. Let's see if there are any other thoughts I want to include. Oh, how did he get here? So I'm also going to include that in my summary. Like, we don't know how he got there. Okay, let's count. Let's see if this is between 30 and 40 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Excellent. So this is 35 words. Cool. So this is my summary. And what I'm going to do is, well, I'm not going to do this, but this is what you're going to do when you write your summary, is you're going to type it into the collaboration board later on in the Nearpod. But you are actually going to write a summary, not for this, but for Chapter 4 of I Am Malala, okay? And what I want you to do is think about yesterday. You did this digitally, but I have it handwritten. You filled out this gist graphic organizer. You came up with the gist of, actually, I have a highlighted copy, of the first couple paragraphs, then the next paragraphs, then the next part, and then the last part, okay? You broke it apart like this and explained your thinking. What I urge you to do when you're writing your 30 to 40 word summary, 30 to 40 word summary. When you're writing your 30 to 40 word summary, is maybe look at the gist that you guys wrote yesterday, okay? And maybe you can use these to figure out what are the key ideas that you want to include in your summary. Kind of like I did when I was including my annotations in my summary, okay? So keep that in mind. Next on the Nearpod, it will direct you to read and then write a summary, and then later on you're going to share your summary on the collaboration board with us. Please ask us if you have any questions, okay?